Hey everybody, this is Matt Hayden with WeHang Christmas Lights. I'm going to do a little demonstration on the app, and when you initially get it set up on your computer, your desktop, your phone, however you're going to use this tablet, you can use it on any of those devices, iOS or Android. So let me kind of go through. You can see I've got some people in here. This is what it's going to look like on your phone. For this video's sake, I'm going to go ahead and go to full screen just so you can get the full effect of it. But when you're clicking through, this is what it looks like on your phone. Okay, so I'm going to go full screen here so you can see. Now you can see we already have a customer in here, so I'm going to go back to the first screen. When you initially get in here, you do have to set up the app because it doesn't have any information in there yet. You got to log in using your Gmail account. Okay, so over here we have some menu items you're going to use: customer, lights and garland, wreath, map, and settings. First thing you want to do is you want to click on your settings and set that up. This is all the information that's going to transpose over to the estimate that's being sent to the customer or to your sales rep, whoever that may be. So right here you can see I've already got something in here. You can only add one company per login. So if you want multiple logins, you need to send us multiple Gmail accounts so we can get you set up. So initially what you're going to do is you're going to click on this little plus here, and it's going to open up a window like this, and it's going to ask you for all your information. Okay, right here it tells you that you can only use one company. Right here you want to put your company name, and again this is going to go over to the estimate and show up on the estimate. All this company information will show up on the estimate. This will not show. That's just your login information. We try to hide that so it's not even in there, but we'll see. Sales email. This is the email you want to use for wherever you want the estimate sent to. And I'll show you how you have an option to send to the customer, or you can send the estimate to sales email if you want. Sales reps information, and then your per minute break even. So that's something. We do have a calculation form. We have an Excel spreadsheet online that you can use to figure out what your break even is. You're just going to take, what you're paying your workers, how many workers you're using, and stuff like that, and then it calculates a break even. This may vary anywhere from 1 to 1.75, maybe higher. Number of crew members. How many crew members are you going to be using on this? You come back and change this anytime you want. This is just going to come into consideration when it shows you the minutes that it's going to take you on each job, and it's just going to divide the amount of minutes divided by how many crew members you're using, and it'll show you how many minutes it should take. Terms and conditions, again, this will show up on the estimate that's sent to the customer, so you can put whatever you want here. You can use something like this. We can email you some terms and conditions that we use if you want. The markup, this is going to be in every single section. So this markup is your default markup in your settings. You do have the ability within each section to change the markup if you want. So if you want to, on certain sections, go 100% markup, and then some you want to go 150, you do have that ability to change that. But this will be the default that's in there every single time you go in. Labor tax rate, you got to decide whether you're going to charge taxes on labor, and product tax rate. Decide if you want to charge tax on products. Okay. You do have the ability to upload a logo here. If you're a WeHang Christmas Light guy, we do have these you can upload. We can send those to you, but you have the ability to upload your own. And this will show up on the estimate form that goes to the customer. When you're done with that, you want to click Save. Okay, all your information saved. If you want to ever edit that, you just go back to here, go back to your settings, and you just click on it, and you can edit right here. Okay. All right, so the next step you want to do is you want to put all your lights in there. Now this is one, when you first do this does take some time. So if I click on lights and garland, when I first go in here, there will not be anything in here. So if I want to add something, I just type in here. Let's say we're going mini lights, 5mm reds. If you want to do individually, if your mini lights are the same, depends on where you're buying your mini lights from. So your prices are going to vary. So mini lights red, let's just say for this, this is a strand, so this is very important. Is it a strand? Yes or no? Yes, this is a strand. And then what is the length of the strand? And that depends on what size length you buy. Let's just say it's 25 feet for this. Price, now that's up to you. What we recommend is you charge what your cost is on it, and you add about 20% to it. So let's say these mini strands are $10. We want to probably put it at $12 because now what you're going to do is every single strand you're going to charge the customer $12. The reason we do that is because you have shipping that you had to pay for. There's other stuff that needs to be accounted for. There's X wire or extension cords or timers. It's too hard to keep track of all that stuff. So what we do is we up this a little bit. I wouldn't recommend crushing the customer. So if your $10 is your cost, and charging 20, I wouldn't recommend doing that. But that's up to you. So we like to do about 20% is what we like to do, added to each strand. Okay. You click save. Now initially you do have to do this for every single product that you have that you want to use on houses. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you if we're using a bulk spool. So let's say we're using bulk spool. And whatever description you want to put in here, just so you know, 15-inch spacing. The customer, this is not something they'll see, so you don't have to worry about that. Bulk spool, 15-inch spacing. Is this a strand? No, it's not. That's very important. And then how much is it per foot? So you need to figure out how much your bulk spools are per foot. Then you need to figure out what it is with the bulb in it. Okay, so let's say the bulb is $1, and then you figure out that your strand per foot is $1. Let's say it's 18 cents. So you're at $1.18. If you want to add 20% to that, let's just put it about 1.22 per foot I'm sorry, that's strand in feet. For this spot, my fault on that one. You're just going to put 1 if it's a bulk spool. Okay, right here we're going to put 1.21. I apologize for that. Okay, so anytime it's a spool, you want to put how much is it per foot is what it's figuring out, and it's $1.21 per foot for this bulk spool, 15-inch spacing. And I'm going to click save. Now, if you want, I can send you an Excel spreadsheet, and I'll send it to you with all these different columns here. And all you have to do is fill in these columns, and I can upload it, and it'll take me probably about 20, 30 seconds to upload it on the back end. So I can send you this, these columns, and you just need to put what description you want. You don't have to worry about that. I'll send it with type of lights. We need to know strand. Is it yes or no? You're just going to put yes or no in there. Strand, what the length is. If it's a bulk spool, you're going to put 1. If it's an actual strand, you're going to put whatever the strand length is, and then the price you want to charge for that. Okay, and this is something else you don't have to worry about. We'll try to get this hidden, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so now we got our lights in there. As far as the setup, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry, let me go back here. You do have wreaths as well, so you can put wreaths in here. It's the same thing. If you're going to use wreaths, pretty easy description. Let's say 70-inch wreath. You can put lit if you want. Maybe you have non-lit. Let's say that's $85, and then you just click save. Pretty simple. Okay, so now you got your lights in there. Once you get all that taken care of, you are set to go and start doing some estimates. Once you go in here, you go to estimates. I already got a few estimates in here, John Smith and Josh Trees. So if I want to add a new one, I got a new customer. I'm going to click plus on the ad. And right here, I can select my customers if they're already in there. If he's not, then what I can do is click on here, and then we'll type it in there. You can skip this if you want. The only fields that are required are the ones that are here. The more information you get, the more information, more information that's saved. So I'm going to just put a number. You put a cell phone, you can put customer's email. If you don't put the customer's email in here, you won't have the ability to email the estimate to them. Okay? So if you want to put the customer's email, this is the email that it will be sent to. Oops. Customer's address. If you don't put this in there, I mean, it's kind of nice to have this. If we put this in here, I'll show you a little bit later that you'll be able to see this autofill here. Kind of changed all my information, but that's okay. Still got Tom Smith. We do have a map feature that you can see all your estimates, and there's some cool features. Something we added this year. It's pretty neat. This is just a status, so you can see kind of where it is, and I'll show you the status screen where you can look at your stuff and you can see what's sold, what's pending, what's lost, that type of thing. Right here, you can send the estimate to whoever you want. At this point, we don't even have an estimate, so you're not really going to fill anything out here. but you do have an office. That's your sales email, and then you have the customer. Once you click one of these two, it's going to be emailed to whoever you decide you to click to. Total job hours, we don't know this information. Is it a rental? Yes or no? This is important because when you send out the estimate, if they're renting the lights, you will not see a light charge on the estimate. It'll all be lumped together. If you're selling lights, you'll have a breakdown between how much you're selling the lights for and then how much the labor cost is. So you want to decide, are we going to rent these lights, or are they buying the lights? This is stuff we don't really have to worry about. This is required, so I'm just going to put 0 for now. You do have the ability to mark up or down for lights if they're doing a purchase. Okay, I'm going to click save. It is asking me. I'm sorry, I didn't click rental. So I need to do rental, yes or no. You can always come back and change this if you want. It's really just going to change the way that the estimate is being sent out. So I'm going to put, yes, this is a rental, and I'm going to click save. Okay, so I've got my customer, and it takes me immediately to the first section I want to add. A lot of these sections, the bottom of them are very similar. You're going to see that, so I'm just going to go through a few of them so you get the idea. We're going to go ahead and just start. Here's all the different sections we can choose from: archways and arbors, balconies, fence lines, bushes, and all the way down. Okay, so you can see the different stuff that we have on here. I'm going to go and select roof lines. Most of the time we're doing roof lines. Difficulty level 1 through 4. If you've done our training, you know what this entails or what this means. If not, you can check all the stuff in the videos that we have. I'm going to put 100 feet here. Let's say we have a difficulty level 1. We have 100 feet. And then you can put difficulty level 2. Let's say it's a little bit higher up. It's the second level they want to do, and that's going to be 75 feet of light. Difficulty level 3 or 4. Obviously, the higher you go. So if I put something here, the more expensive it's going to be, the more you're going to charge the customer. Staples needed. You may not use staples anywhere. You may use them here. If you do click this is going to add a lot to your estimate here. So if you just look down here, I'm not going to jump ahead too far, but here, total break even. This is if I want to not make any money on this. This is what I want to charge the customer. If we're just going to break even on it. And you can watch, you can see that goes up. And the reason it goes up so much is because if you've ever done staples, you understand how long it takes to put them in and how long it takes to take them out. And you've got to collect every single staple. We've got special conditions right here. Okay, special conditions can be anything. Maybe it's snowing. You're a different part of the country. You have, it's raining. You have monsoon, whatever weather conditions, anything you can see that you have to deal with. Special conditions, you can input it here, and this is a percentage. Yes, I'm going to add 10% because we do have special conditions. And that's up for you to determine, like, oh, okay, that's a special condition. I'm going to add 10% or 20%, whatever you're going to add. Descriptions. This is a description for this particular section. You have the ability in every single section to do description. So I'm going to decorate lower roof line. This is whatever you want to put on here. And this does translate over to the estimate, so the customer will see this information. There you go. So something like that. This is good to know for your salespeople too, or the installers when they go out, so they know what they're doing. You can take a photo. If you click on this on your phone, it'll pull up your camera, and you can take a photo of the section just to show. It might come in handy when you want to show your installers what they're doing, or even the customer. This photo, this is what we took a photo of, so there's no discrepancies on what you're doing. Here's our default markup we talked about in the settings. And again, this can be changed anytime. If you think 120% is too much, go back to the settings and change it to 100 if that's what you want to show up each time. If you think on this section, customers, complaining about too much, maybe you take your markup down. This is not something you want to show your customer. You're not showing them how much you're marking up or down on their stuff. My total break even on this is $175.32. And then my labor charge, because I have 100% markup, is $350.64. $350.64. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to select the type of lights that we want to use on this. So right here, here's my C9 light line, my bulk spool, 15-inch spacing. Let's say we're going to use this. It's going to take my price that I had in the back end. I think it was $1.22. multiply times how many feet we're using, and it's going to give me my charge of $211.75. Okay. Total cost for this section is $562.39. The customer's complaining, again, you want to drop it down. You can always change this to 75%. And you can see that my numbers drop here. Okay, we're going to keep it up at 100 though, because I like 100 better. Total cost, $562.39. Total minutes, 350 minutes and 350.63 minutes. Okay. So you may be thinking sometimes, we had some calls the other day about, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of minutes. It's not going to take me that long to do that. A lot of things you got to take in consideration. The time it takes you to get the ladders off the rack, the time it takes you to get set up, the time it takes you to run power for this, the time it takes you to find the power. There's a lot of other factors that go into this, the time it takes to take down. So that's stuff you got to think about. All of us know that if we get up there and install it, myself included, if I get up there, I can install this a lot quicker than what it says here. But again, that stuff, you've got to factor in all that stuff. If, you should have a power issue or something, there's a lot, little room in there to compensate for that. Now, this is not something the customer is going to see. This is just a kind of a guideline or a basis for you to go based on. Every crew is going to be different. It may not take you 350 minutes. You might be quicker than some. You might have a guy that's real slow. You might have guys that are really fast and it goes a lot faster. You might have a great crew and you're doing it a lot faster than that. This is just a kind of an estimate on the time frame we think it's going to take. Based on my crew, I believe I had 3 in there. Yeah, 3 people in there. This is what it should take if we have a crew of 3 out there doing this installation. 116. So it's just under 2 hours to do this. And again, that's install and takedown. I'm going to go ahead and click save on this. You can always go back and edit any of these sections. I got Tom right here. These are my estimates. I've got Tom. And then I can always click into roof lines and I can edit it right here. So I'll click edit. And there we go. We can change something. Tom doesn't, you know what? Let's take off the top roof line. Okay, Tom, no problem. We'll take that off. I just want to do the bottom. Perfect. Click save. And there you go. Now, if I want to see a summary of what Tom's doing here, here's a breakdown, the summary of Tom. Total cost, $286. Total minutes per crew, 55 minutes. I can always click in here and edit it if I want to edit this particular section. Okay. I'm going to go back to estimates here. I'm going to click on Tom. If we want to add a new section, just go down here. We've already got roof lines. I'm going to add another section. There's Tom. And let's say we're going to do, we'll do something. Let's say we're going to do some windows. Okay. Difficulty level 1, again, this comes into play. Is it on a single story and it's just on the ground? Are you is it higher? Is there 4 windows up top, but they're easy, you can access them easily. You want to take your circumference of the windows. You want to measure the windows. So let's say it's 24, let's say it's not going to be 24 inches. Let's say 24 feet. I don't know. Let's just say it's 100. It's going to be more than that. This is all in, I'm sorry, this is all in feet. Sorry about that. So let's just say the circumference is 16 feet around. It's a small window, but close. And then the quantity at difficulty level, we're going to do 3 of them. Let's just go with 2 because you probably won't do 3. Maybe you will. Okay, and you have the ability to do multiple levels here. And let's say we're going to do 2 on the bottom. It's difficulty level 1. I'm sorry, that's, again, I'm missing that, 16. And then we're doing 2 at that level. Okay, scroll down here. Are we doing any light garland on it? No. Are we doing any garland? No. Special conditions. Do we have special conditions to deal with here? Whatever that may be. There might be, it's hard to get to the window up top or whatever the case is. You have the ability to put percentage in here. And then decorate all front facing windows. Okay. Take a photo if you want. Here's your markup, 120%. Break even on that. Your labor charge, which you're charging the customer. And then let's say we're going to do C9 light line around it. 64 feet. Our light charge is going to be $66. So I have just over $1 in there for that. Total cost, $202.08. This is the amount of minutes it's going to take, and then this is the amount of minutes it's going to take for the crew. I'm going to click Save. Here's our breakdown for Tom. You can see roof lines and windows. I want to look at my summary for Tom. I can go in here. Total charge is $488.08. Okay, and then anytime I want to edit a section, I can just click into it and edit it at that point. Let me just show you this real quick. Here's our status. Tom Smith is pending. Tom and John are both pending. We're doing the brothers' houses. And then you can see that Josh is sold. Okay, so Tom Smith is the guy we're doing. Probably should have done somebody else's name. Add another section. Decide what section you're going to add. Let's say we're going to do some columns and pillars. Okay, linear feet of column pillar. Let's say the height of it is 10 feet. The spacing in inches. How many inches are we doing here? Let's say we're going to do 6-inch spacing, and the average circumference in inches. Depends on the pillar. If it's just a straight up pillar, straight up and down, then you should be okay. So let's say the average circumference is about 36 inches. And then how many of those are we doing? Oh, we're doing the 2 right in front of the house. Perfect. I'll put that up to 2. Are we doing any lit garland? Are we doing any garland? Any special conditions that we have to deal with in this instance? Description, decorates, 2 columns in front. Okay. Take a photo if you want. There's our markup. Markup is showing a little bit different here. It's showing 100% markup. I'll have to see why it should be defaulted to 120. So I'll take a look at that and see why that's at 100. Total break even, labor charge, type of lights on these columns. What are we doing? Let's say we're going to do mini lights. Same type of thing. Here's your charge, how many minutes it's going to take, total minutes. So I'll look into why the default wasn't 120 on that one. Okay, so here we go. So we've got different columns, different stuff showing up here. If I want to go back to my summary, I can see, what my Tom Smith is looking like, 623.44. Can always go take, he doesn't want to do that. Maybe he doesn't want to do that section. You click edit. Let me go back here. Got to go to estimates. We've got Tom Smith. Let's say, he decides, let's not do those windows. That's too expensive. You can always click in here and click this delete button right at the top here. Again, that was within estimates, Tom Smith, and then within whatever section you're talking about. And I could just click this right here and it'll delete this whole section. Okay, so we've got our stuff in here for Tom Smith. Let's say we're going to go back and we want to put a status for this guy. We are going to go to here's our status of what's going on. Tom Smith. I can edit his, what we're doing. Let's say he's sold. He wants to do it. Perfect. That's awesome. We're going to do it. I click sold. If I want to send the estimate to him or I want to just send it to my office and review it, I can do that too. You can click one of those two, and I'm going to click save. And now my status is going to be in sold. So now I can see all my sold stuff up here. Okay. The addresses, this is a pretty cool feature that we added this year. You guys can let me know if you like it or not, but here's a map, and it'll show on the map, it'll show where the locations are for all the installs you're doing. You can always click on it, and it'll pull up, and it'll give me some information. John Smith, maybe your guys want driving directions. If this is on their phone, you can actually click on this. It's not going to show on here because it's not on my phone, but there is the ability to, it'll show on here, it'll show driving directions down here. You can click on it and let's see here. I don't know if it'll show it. Doesn't show it in this one, but on your phone it'll actually show you that you can click on it and it'll pull up driving directions for your crew to get to, if that's what you want to do. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my estimates. And there we are. Those are our estimates. Here's a summary of each estimate if you want to look at that, and the status of each estimate. You can keep track of these. As you get more and more in here, obviously, you're going to get a longer list. Okay, well, that's the basics of this estimating program. If anybody has any questions on any particular section or anything like that, we can go through it. A lot of that's in our training as far as the difficulty levels and all that. I can put some more videos out. Just let me know. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, please feel free to give me a call. Number's 949-945-5530. And that's it. All right. Good luck.